for all you guys that follow me that have been thinking about becoming a realtor or were a realtor before, got out and thinking about getting back in, what's the perspectives for 2025? That was an interesting question, right? Right now, we are seeing a mass exodus pretty much of realtors because the market is, we had this crazy market that was really almost unheard of during COVID. And there was a certain point where a lot of people couldn't work their regular jobs, and selling a house was very easy. I mean, it really was. I mean, you could put a house on the market back in the swing of, I don't know, maybe it was a 21-ish, 20, like in the middle of that super hot market. And all you had to do is get it onto the MLS and you would have people lined up at the door, right? So a lot of people moved into the industry at that time, and I don't blame them. But now that we're back to, for realtors, kind of a tough time because the market's pretty slow here, at least very locally here in South Florida and, in the Palm Beach County market. There's not as many deals to go around. It's not easy anymore. You actually have to spend money to make money. So now, that being said, when I first got into actual residential real estate, it was kind of the same situation because I got into this business in auctions. I never intended on being a realtor. I was in a totally different industry. I sold my businesses and I fell into auctions with a wonderful gentleman named Lamar Fisher down in Pompano, Florida. And then that was 2008, I believe, 7. I think it was 7. It was right before the meltdown. The commercial side of that started slightly earlier, or they were seeing enough indications that I had a conversation with him one day, on some random event, and he said, "Hey, we're getting ready to get busy. Come over here." When he learned I got my real estate license, which I had gotten a bunch of licenses, insurance, and da da da. So here we go, boom, boom, boom. We go through the boom, boom house down days. Back then, prices were going up $25,000 a month sometimes on houses, right? Then we get the bust, boom. I'm in auctions, and that's when I start my real estate career. So the auctions that I was doing with him were mainly large stuff, big, condo, whole tower projects, commercial buildings, things like that. We went through all that fairly quickly. And I said, well, do I want to stay in real estate? Everybody wanted me to go in commercial real estate. I didn't really want to. It's not my style. Then I had a friend that had a brokerage, and she's like, hey, come help me over here. So I said, all right, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Now, realize that is at a time when there were more realtors than ever in the business. And realtors, much like now, were, and I think we actually eclipsed that in the COVID years, much like now, flocking out of the business. Everybody thought I was crazy. And maybe I was. I didn't make a ton of money my first year. I mean, my first year, I think I made like 12 grand. It was pretty rough. Now, that's my first year in residential real estate. The auctions I was doing fine, and luckily I was in a position where I could weather that storm, and it picked up quite exponentially after that. But what I realized is that I got in at the perfect time for me, because I didn't learn any of the bad habits that everybody had gotten during those times when they didn't have to do much to sell a house. I had a fresh perspective, I guess. I think a lot of people were tired of hearing the same old thing from people. So anyways, the bottom line about real estate is, and always has been, it doesn't really matter when you get into it. You can get into this business and you can be successful. You can make a living, and sometimes you can be very successful. But the one thing that people don't realize, or at least it seems not to realize, is that it's a full-time job. And when I say it's a full-time job, I still work 7 days a week, right? Now, I'm lucky enough that maybe I work some of those days down at my place in Key Largo, some of them here in Palm Beach County. But I work every day, because in order to sustain a business in this business, you have to stay on top of the news, on top of everything that's going on. You have to be there when people want you to be there. That's one of the reasons that I have a team. Having a team allows us to service customers no matter whether I or one of my other agents is on vacation or just out of town or indisposed for whatever reason. You have to be willing to work on the drop of a dime. Like, somebody calls you, you have to be willing to go, okay, I'm going to go. I wasn't planning on doing this. I had plans with my family to go out to dinner, but guess what? These people are ready and so we need to go do that. That's just the way this business works. It can take a while to get accustomed to it. These shirts, I wear these shirts all the time. And here, if you haven't seen the back, by the way. So I'm not hard to point out in a crowd, and sometimes the attention is wanted and sometimes it's not. Let's pause and let them go out and do whatever they're going to do. But the reality is I wear these shirts all day working, and then half the time I just forget I'm wearing them. So we got to dinner, I'm wearing a shirt, and somebody comes up and starts asking me questions about real estate. Now, it used to frustrate my wife to no end, and it was a little bit frustrating to me at first too, but I understood, like, oh, I'm wearing this thing, and it says, hey, I'm a realtor, ask me. So if you're not gonna answer the question, don't wear the shirt, right? But now it's become second nature, and the reality is, that's also how I'm paying for that meal. That's how I'm paying for my house. My house is, that's how I'm paying, So, but you have to be, it's an all-in game if you're gonna be successful. You can't come in, you can come in part-time and maybe make enough money for a family vacation or something like that. That does happen. In very rare cases, some people come in part-time and they might get a little run and all of a sudden, oh, they have a really good, but in over time, to be successful in this business, it's a full-time job and it's an everyday job. And you have to, I don't know, for lack of a better way of saying it, live it, learn it, love it. If you don't love this job, you're not going to stay in this business very long. Because it can, grind you down. But again, there is always a lot of opportunity in real estate. We'll see what happens with all the lawsuits and this and that and the other. But at the end of the day, and this is something I've talked to and this has been for years, I've been talking to my customers about, both buyers and sellers. Hey, this is what's going on in the industry nationwide. This is the battle between the Department of Justice and the National Association of Realtors and this and that and the other, which honestly, I don't have any control of, or there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just going to do my job. And I say, what is your feeling about, my services to you? I mean, do you feel like you need a realtor? And overwhelmingly, they've all said yes, right? Now, there's people that don't want to use a realtor, and they don't. That's fine. Do whatever you like. I'm not, going to say you shouldn't sell your own house any more than fix your own car. I mean, if you're competent or feel competent to do it and you feel like you can do a better job or as good of a job and save yourself some money, knock yourself out. Statistics don't really prove that, but I still get it. So anyways, I would say if you're ready to jump, but make sure you know what you're jumping into. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Living in South Florida Does Not Suck. Please do subscribe with the notification bell on. If you liked today's guest, you can also get more information about them right here. Like magic, it will appear. Anyways, we love having you here. We love having your friends here. Shout it out from the rooftops. Like us on Facebook. Share it with your friends. We'll see you soon here in beautiful, sunny South Florida.